Many of you have come into the comment section and told me I'm wasting my time by using an additive with supermarket fuel. So in this video I'm going to give you the opportunity to prove me wrong. So I'm going to be filling 2 tanks worth of fuel through the car with using Shell V-Power, and then we're going to compare the performance, fuel economy, to see whether using Shell fuel is actually better than using an additive. So on this journey and this fuel fill up, where I was going to, there wasn't a nearby Shell for about sort of 30 odd miles heading east, so had to fill up the tank early. And as a base reading, we'd done 411 miles and 51 miles per gallon. Outside temperature was quite cool, down to 7 degrees, so that is obviously going to affect fuel economy. I'll reset all of the systems and then we'll see how we do on the Shell fuel. So as a comparison, on the same day, if I'd have fueled up at Sainsbury's, I'd be paying 144.9 per litre rather than 179. So there's my first tank full. We have used 36.67 litres worth of fuel and paid 174.9. Let's check what the stats are on the car. So we've covered 391 and 0.8 miles. Temperature's up at 18 degrees now, so we should be getting some good. So we've averaged 50.3 miles per gallon across this tank. So this is the second tank. I decided to fill up at Sainsbury's, and I've put some Miller's Eco Max in with this tank. The stats for this is that we covered 423.6, 13 degrees outside temperature. The trip computer I don't think is correct, so what we'll do is we'll head home and then we'll tally up and see how Shell compares to using a supermarket fuel with an additive. Yeah, just going to summarise now how it went on the Shell. So first fill, well, this one obviously we weren't analysing anything other than the cost essentially. So on this one we paid £1.79.9 for the V-Power, and at a Sainsbury's it was £1.44, so it cost an extra 35p, £12.92. On the first fill up, after we'd added the Shell, cost £11 extra for that tank, so we paid 174.9, and to be honest, actually Sainsbury's would have been cheaper at that point, but I'm just using that as a base reference. And yeah, did 391.8 miles on that one, and so that equated to a real-time miles per gallon of 48.49. So slightly better on this tank. So we did 423.6 miles, 52.4 miles per gallon on that one. It's actually spooky how consistent I've been. So 36.92 litres in that one, 36.67 litres in that one, and on this one 36.69. So real consistency with how much fuel's been added on each fill. The only other thing to discuss is did it feel any better? And it kind of felt the same, to be honest. There was a psychological thing. It felt to me like there was a little bit more torque, around just above 1,000 RPM. That was my gut feeling. But all of these depends obviously how you've been driving it, how clean it is, whether you've been thrashing it or whether it's got a bit clogged up where you've been driving it economically. But considering it's costing an extra that one's nearly £13 and that's £11 for those tanks. Well, you can get pretty much a whole bottle of Miller's Eco for that, and if you get that bottle of Miller's, that's going to do you probably 6 or 7 tanks, and to be honest then you can fill up wherever you want. You're not having to go to Shell to get the specific fuel. So yeah, it's not a real downer on the Shell V-Power. I think it's doing a very good job. Certainly when I look back at my other figures, either of these miles per gallons aren't bad for the type of car, but you'll see from the next clip that the next drive I did on it was much better. So just as a comparison, after filling up with the Sainsbury's fuel, putting some Millers in, I did 178 miles yesterday, and got stuck in traffic quite a lot in some of the towns. Did do a lot of motorway driving as well, but that being said, it was showing 63 miles to the gallon yesterday, and after all of the town work as well, it's gone down to a measly 58.4 miles to the gallon.